For decades, the price of college in America has risen faster than almost every essential cost of living, turning what was once an affordable path to the middle class into one of the most punishing financial decisions an American can make. In the 1970s, a student could pay for an entire year of public university with a part-time job. Tuition was low, textbooks were cheap, and graduating without debt was normal. Today, the same education often costs tens of thousands of dollars a year, and nearly every student needs loans just to step through the door. The heart of the crisis begins with how the federal loan system changed. When the government expanded guaranteed student lending, the intention was simple: make college accessible to everyone. But once colleges realized that students could borrow almost unlimited amounts, backed by the federal government, they began raising tuition far beyond inflation. Universities built bigger campuses, added more administrators, marketed college like a premium lifestyle product, and treated students as guaranteed revenue streams. As tuition exploded, wages did not. A generation of Americans entered the workforce with degrees that didn't pay enough to cover the loans they took out to get them. The average borrower now leaves school with more than $30,000 in debt, and many graduate students owe more than $100,000. But the real problem isn't just the amount borrowed, it's how student loan interest grows. Unlike mortgages or car loans, student loans can balloon even if you keep making payments. When a borrower falls behind or enters forbearance, interest keeps accumulating daily, rolling into the principal and creating a snowball effect that feels impossible to stop. Thousands of Americans share the same story. After years of payments, their balance is higher than the day they graduated. A $40,000 loan becomes $60,000, and it's not because they didn't try, it's because the system is designed to let interest outrun income. The crisis hits hardest for those who never finished college. Millions of Americans started school, borrowed money, and dropped out because tuition became unaffordable or life got in the way. They entered the workforce with debt, but without a degree that boosts earnings. These borrowers default at the highest rates, and defaulting on student loans is far more severe than other kinds of debt. The government can garnish wages without court approval, take tax refunds, seize a portion of Social Security checks, and block certain professional licenses. And unlike most debt, student loans are nearly impossible to discharge in bankruptcy, trapping people in a system designed without a real exit. Over time, student loans turned into a $1.7 trillion industry that multiple players profit from. Colleges benefit from rising prices because students borrow whatever they demand. Loan servicers collect money for managing accounts, even when they mislead borrowers or steer them into more expensive repayment options. Private lenders offer high-interest loans for students who hit federal borrowing caps, and the federal government itself earns billions in interest every year from a system that was supposed to make opportunity accessible, not create lifetime financial chains. Political leaders attempted reforms, but many solutions created their own complications. Income-driven repayment plans were meant to help borrowers by basing monthly payments on income, but many borrowers found that lower payments stretched their repayment timelines into decades. Some spent 10 or 15 years making payments only to discover that errors, paperwork issues, or servicer mistakes prevented them from qualifying for promised forgiveness. The pandemic pause temporarily relieved millions, but once interest resumed, many borrowers saw their balances jump suddenly, revealing how fragile the system really was. The crisis affects the entire U.S. economy. Heavy student debt delays homeownership, slows family formation, reduces retirement savings, and prevents millions from building wealth. Young Americans who should be buying homes, starting businesses, or investing in their futures are instead spending hundreds of dollars a month on debt payments. Older Americans aren't exempt either. Millions over the age of 60 still carry student loans, often for degrees they earned decades earlier or for loans they took to help their children. Some even have their Social Security checks garnished, something unimaginable in any other developed country. Underlying all of this is a deeper economic flaw. America built its job market around the assumption that everyone should get a college degree, even as the cost of that degree became unmanageable. High schools pushed four-year universities as the only respectable path, while trade schools and vocational programs were neglected. Today, the U.S. faces severe shortages in trades that require no college degree and offer strong salaries. Yet millions of college graduates work in jobs that don't require a degree, unable to earn enough to justify the debt they carry. Meanwhile, colleges have continued expanding like corporations. Administrative staff grew dramatically, marketing budgets exploded, and many campuses invested in luxury dorms, new stadiums, and recreation centers to attract students. But none of that expansion reduced tuition. In many cases, it justified raising it even more. And because loans were easy to get, colleges never had to cut costs. They passed the bill to students, and the government guaranteed payment. The student loan crisis is not the result of lazy borrowers or irresponsible spending. It is the predictable outcome of a system where colleges can raise prices without consequence, where the government lends money without evaluating the return on investment, and where borrowers are locked into decades of repayment under terms they never fully understood at age 18. Education is supposed to open doors, not trap people in financial quicksand. Yet millions of Americans are living proof that the structure of higher education in the United States is fundamentally broken. Until tuition is regulated, until lending is reformed, and until the financial incentives that reward debt over affordability are dismantled, every new generation will walk into the same trap. High school seniors will continue signing loan agreements they barely understand. Colleges will continue raising prices because they know they can. And millions of borrowers will continue spending their most productive years trying to pay off debt that was never meant to be a lifelong burden. America's student loan crisis isn't just about money. It's about a system that promised opportunity but delivered financial imprisonment to millions who were only trying to build a better future.